Hello, everybody. How's
Hello.
everyone doing?
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
I'm ready to
Comcast
be.
is a wonderful company. Excellent.
I'm ready to be floored. This stuff is amazing.
All right. Well, so this is the 100% category, of the Ancient Gods Part 2. It's a little bit different than the campaign 100% just because of some strange things. But for those of you who don't know speedruns, I think we already talked about this. Speedruns, we have different categories for different play styles and different things people like. 100% basically means we just collect everything that's tracked. Now, so we're going to collect all the runes. We're going to collect, or not the runes, that's in tag 1. We're going to collect all the collectibles. We're going to do as many fights as we can. The way which fights we do is a little bit more complicated, and I'll get into that once we do the run. Which fights are required, rather. But yeah, that's the category. We just do all the fights that we can and do and collect all the collectibles.
Cool.
I just want to make sure. How's my audio, chat? Like mic wise. All right.
Bowser does have a voice, Zai. It's unbelievable.
No, I don't.
It's actually the first time I've heard you speak, Bowser.
All right. I'm gonna start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so we're going to start off right at the beginning. We're actually just going to kill all this fodder right at the beginning. Oh, and he's also going to re-equip some runes. So this fight has a bunch of scatter demons. We're just going to clean them up pretty quick. Cute little D-blade here. Ooh, I didn't know about this one then.
I love how you guys, you memorize the spawns and have like a nice destroyer blade ready for them.
We have documents on this fight. So we have a lot of data on this game. A cute little thing he did before that fight with the pain elemental. He actually dealt some damage to himself, because that fight doesn't start unless you pick up the armor. So he has to deal some damage to himself to actually start that fight, and it is a fight that's required.
The little inside story: the destroyer blade for early in development was the super shotgun of 2016 in terms of the imbalance of it. Like, we got the results back from our first playtest from a build we had nearing the end of the project, and people were just beating the entire game with the destroyer blade so easily, and they loved it. They thought it was really fun. Couldn't get enough of it, but we definitely had to do a lot of work to try to balance that thing.
The funny thing is about the destroyer blade, we actually, when the game came out, we didn't think it was that good for combat at all. Actually, we didn't use it.
Yeah.
But then like Zero Master did a run and he showed us some uses, and then after that, the floodgates were open. We found many uses, and now destroyer blade's one of the most incredible, especially in the campaign. We found so many uses for it.
And that's kind of what we tried to land. Like, just didn't want it to be so obvious and so easy, like just sort of a powerful weapon that took a minute to try to be able to use effectively. And yeah, I would say the way you guys use it is even just so far beyond what we even anticipated.
But also, I mean, one of the reasons we also didn't use it is because we didn't know how to move with it very well, and it was very dangerous to sit and hold it and charge it. And we found that you can actually bunny hop with it out and charge it and maintain your speed, so that's why it's a lot safer. And by the way, oh, there it is. We're playing on Nightmare. We're playing on Nightmare.
Nice.
Yeah, I screwed that up.
You didn't screw anything up. This is absurd. You guys are amazing. I know you must think I don't know what it's like for speedrunners, and if they die, it's like super, like maybe frustrating or anything. But I have to tell you, like, I'm just sitting here in awe, like. So
yeah, speedrunning it is an interesting little dynamic with speedrunning and like safety, right? Because ideally a lot of times the riskiest strats are the fastest. So
yeah,
you have to kind of pick and choose, and sometimes we do strats simply because they're the alternative is very scary and then the run's over. So So actually, you have to kill, if I recall correctly, you have to kill 27 imps here. That's the number. You have to kill 27 imps in this final wave of this fight. So it's a lot of imps. Destroyer Blade really helps there. If you're asking whether or not, like some people in chat might say, well, could you BFG? The spawns are staggered enough that the BFG wouldn't be as effective in some other areas. BFG routing is very important in this category, especially because you have to do a lot of fights and you have to pick wisely.
The way. It's so crazy.
So this fight, we just gotta kill 7 imps, and then get 2 snakes will spawn, and then we clean them up, and then we move on.
It's just nuts that you have all that information. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think for some inexplicable reason, I was really bored on launch day. After I finished the game, I immediately just went, I'll spend the next 6 hours just learning all the fights, and then I wrote everything down. It was, I don't know why I did it that way. I could have just taken my time.
Nuts.
So again, this fight only starts if you pick up the armor. Kind of strange, but it is required in this level. Just to, because of fighting right now is like going to be somewhat self-explanatory from here on out, I think. The way we decide which fights are required, unlike the base campaign where we just look at the demonic corruption meter, and we just see how much demonic corruption is, like, you just fill it up and you do the fights that are associated with that and you skip every other one. This, the DLCs don't have that. And in fact, when the game came out, when the DLCs came out, a lot of people were kind of disappointed with the stated 100% category because you would skip so many fights. Until one player, I believe his name is Root Beer Soup? Correct me if I'm wrong. He found that if you open the console... Say that? Somebody see that? Oh yeah, anyway, he found that if you open the console, after, you can see that some fights, like, some encounters give, like, these, like, hidden combat rating. And so Bowser actually developed a tool to go along with the timer that we use that detects this hidden combat rating. And so that's how we decide which fights we choose to do in this category. You might ask, like, why is it that arbitrary? Well, we kind of need something that's consistent and that can be measured and detected, right?
Sure.
So that's why we did it that way. In this level, you skip 0 fights. You kill every single demon. But in some others, you're going to see us skip some fights. And you're not going to like one of the fights that we skip. You're going to be a little disappointed that we skipped that one, I think, Hugo. But in this level, we kill every single demon.
Great.
So we want to go after spirits immediately because of course they're very scary and spooky and can kill you very quickly. It's nice
that one can possess a tyrant.
Yeah, especially that one. Yeah. And tyrants are spongy enough as it is. So we don't want to spend so long trying to fight them. So, especially with a tyrant, you'll notice there that actually the most ideal way to kill a tyrant is to just pull it precision bolt and super shotgun him in the face 5 times. That's enough. 5 times will kill a tyrant. But because that's very, very scary, you have to be very close. Bowser obviously elects to precision bolt Rocket a bunch of times before he then gets close to finish him off. That just gives you a little bit of leeway. It's not the most ideal thing, but again, it's a safety strat. We want to make sure that we don't die, because it's incredibly punishing in terms of time. Ooh, I didn't even know about that dash booster. I gotta document that one. That's fine.
Amazing.
Cute little thing about specters, for those of you watching. Specters actually don't have armor. You can just shoot them in the face. Some people might not know that. And they actually have more HP than Pinkies. But Pinkies have higher armor.
Man, you are just laying waste, dude. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's crazy that this is Nightmare. We need to make this harder, chat. More challenges, more barons.
I think you said this earlier, Hugo, but you said like the super shotgun is like I don't think you understand how powerful the super shotgun is in this game. It's incredibly powerful.
It's not,
you're gonna-
not like it was in 2016. But,
that's true, but it is still very, very powerful. It is the best form of damage. Ideally, if you can get close to a demon and super shotgun, that's probably the best way to kill them. But of course, you're getting close to them, which is scary. So that's why you're not going to see Bowser do that much.
That allowed us, because we made the AI more dangerous up close. It allowed us to turn up the power of the super shotgun up close. So it's actually, you know, stronger than it was in 2016 up close. Minus the double tap, of course.
Yeah. Oh man, that's there it is.
We'll cut him. Don't worry, he'll be gone.
I think you just forgot to use energy shield. I think like I think that would have done okay. Sometimes it's easy to forget about energy shield.
No, they're supposed to die to the rockets. I just flubbed my inputs.
Ah, okay.
Yes, that one pinky chat is gone. Retro, he will be deleted from the game.
There we go. Oh, I needed the bug punch.
So upcoming is the first escalation encounter. I don't think there's I think that like this is one of the fights that would have been required to do. But as you can see, like in theory, it would have been the only one if we didn't change the definition of what 100% means in this game.
Oh, that was sick.
Oh, yeah, sometimes that happens. Funny thing about Destroyer Blade is there's an upgrade for it that some people might actually think is very useful. It's the one that falters the demons once it fully charges. That's actually pretty useful because of those scenarios just like that, where the demon will just hit you and then your aim will punch and just shoot it up into the sky. So that's why in the campaign actually when we upgrade Destroyer Blade in certain categories, we actually like that upgrade, even though intuitively you would think that if you were a speedrunner you wouldn't really want to get it. Excuse me.
Unbelievable. The damage you're laying down, my friend. You are a machine. Crazy.
I can get a chainsaw like I wanted to. Might be a bit sketchy with ammo.
Oh, chainsaw routing. I should probably mention that. There's actually a lot of details to sort of ammo routing as well. We like to chainsaw heavies, obviously, because the chainsaw gives the same amount of ammo no matter what you kill. So we just like to chainsaw heavies preferably. So we actually route around chainsaw ammo and we choose very specifically where we want to chainsaw, how much we have, to maximize the amount of heavies that we can kill off. And we particularly like pain elementals and silent elementals because they're the biggest beats you can chainsaw. Although the hammer does introduce some complexities that we haven't really gone into. The Ancient Gods Part 2 has been out for a very short time, so we haven't found setups to take full advantage of the ammo from that.
Sure. Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
I love coming down on the hammer when you're up that high. It feels so good. We're definitely proud of the hammer. The whole team is.
I really like it. I thought it was a really nice way to introduce another way to get ammo. Because chainsawing about 50 times during a run can get a little repetitive, but I like the hammer and barrels especially. I really enjoy barrels.
Yeah.
Speaking of barrels as well, like just to talk a little bit about history, like we only recently learned how much barrels can help during a run in the campaign, let alone the DLC. So there's still a lot of developments. Like for those of you who are watching and thinking, "Oh, this is the best anybody's ever going to play," come back in a year and you'll see way better. The game really does develop, and we learn new things all the time. In fact, Bowser just demonstrated a tech that we learned about a few weeks ago. which is lock-on canceling. It's a little bit complicated, I'm not getting into it, but I just wanted to point out, like, he did something that we just learned about, so.
Alright,
So,
happy didn't die there.
were those two glory kills for hammer or a glory kill or a blood punch?
Blood punch. I want to have at least one up here.
Ah, yeah, for the two Cybermen.
Yeah.
Have you timed escalation skip? See if it's worth doing in this category.
No, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it is cool though. Escalation skip is the one that Bloodshot did. You saw it earlier. He jumped all the way to this top level from
Sure.
where you fought all those pinkies.
It's
We
crazy.
we haven't decided, and we're not sure whether or not that's it's good for this category, because it gives us some advantages, but at the same time, there's some things we have to consider. Like we have to go back to do some fights, and so here is actually, I don't think they covered this in the NMG run. He's actually doing a manipulation on the AI. He's standing in a specific spot to make sure that the Blood Angel does the attack as quickly as possible.
Awesome.
Again, close so that Blood Angel does the attack and then stands in another spot. Because otherwise, there's a chance the Blood Angel might just run around and not shoot at you.
Oh,
And it's,
yeah.
of course, slow. So, and then that can happen
I got
sometimes.
him.
Right. I don't know why that barrier blocks all bullets, but every other barrier in the game doesn't. Very strange. I don't know why that happens.
Probably just used a different material or something,
It's not a big deal. Sometimes it can happen.
but Blood Angels and Blood Makers. They're Blood Angels is what we called them in development, I think, and Blood Makers is what we shipped with. I screw up and called Blood Angels still, or whatever they are now. What are they officially in the game now? I forget, honestly.
Blood Makers, I think. Did I call them Blood Angels?
No,
Yeah,
I
you did.
call them Blood Angels all the time, just because that's we do that a lot with the devs when it comes to the naming conventions, because we get so used to calling them a certain thing.
Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We've gone through some of the game's files and we have some of the names, like original names, like I think you call maker drones in files zombie makers or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So, which makes sense. They're possessed makers. So.
Yes.
So Reclaimed Earth has, if I recall, not that many. Like we do skip some fights. So unfortunately, you're gonna see us actually skip some fights, but not that many. Just a few small ones here and there, like passing by. But all of the major ones we're gonna be doing.
Awesome.
Movement tech over here.
Well,
Just a little optimization. It's not that much faster to just go the intended route, but it's even if it's
Sure.
slower, Bowser's probably gonna do it anyway because he enjoys the swag strats.
crazy. You are deleting AI.
So there's the chainsaw routing coming into play. Perfect timing. Refills and then he
And describe to me the routing again. What is it? Like,
we just decide like which demon specifically per fight, like before the run begins.
because it recharges the pip anyway, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter.
It recharges, and we'd say, okay, pick up this pip in this area and spend one here. It can get kind of complicated, but oh, there it is.
Yeah, this is one of the harder fights in this level.
Yeah, this one we wanted to try to turn up the volume a little bit. I remember we put one extra pass on this counter.
I did actually want to ask you something, Hugo. This isn't kind of related. I noticed in the Arc Slayer Gate, you guys just dropped 3 super heavies super early. Was that a little bit of a joke, or was there more to that decision?
The Arc Slayer game?
Yeah, the Arc Slayer Gate. You dropped 2 Tyrants and a Baron about 3 levels before you, or like a few levels before you first see them. And it's like 3 super heavies, and it's like quite a ranch it up in difficulty. Was that like something you wanted to do for like?
Just to try to push the player.
Yeah, just be like, okay, now it's adult time. Time to play like a big boy.
You guys sure as hell know how to use that destroyer blade, I'll tell you. That's for sure. The way you're able to pull off combos.
I was doing my hammer.
Oh. Oh, the hammer just popped out there. Something to maybe like to tell you what it's like to speedrun Hugo. That experience of like redoing the same thing over and over again is like pretty much quintessentially speedrunning. Like at the top level, you're going to be replaying the first few levels about 1 billion times compared to the last few, because the amount of time the amount of times like a run doesn't work out, you fail to execute something happens, like something random or whatever the case may be. So like speedrunning, like what you're seeing right now is like the end product, right? But a lot of it is just doing this, dying a bunch of times or resetting or something like that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I promise you, I practiced this.
Oh, please. I'm sure of it. You're already just killing it. It's amazing how you use the advanced tools too as well. It's like you're rocket launching, using the rocket launcher in incredible ways. In combos. It's nuts. You guys by chance play battle mode?
Some of us
I
do.
have not, no.
Well, some of us do. But,
You're so good at the game, like you would be lethal slayers.
I know Zai, he's in the chat, he likes to play battle mode occasionally, and the Bloodshot does. But most of us like, most of us prefer speedrunning just because of, it's a different experience, right? You're battling more against yourself rather than other players in terms of execution and just, you know, it's a different experience. Like, yeah, the skills sort of transfer over, but a lot of us, yeah. But that's not to say we don't enjoy the multiplayer or anything like that. It's just,
Well, Ali, game, however you say your name, battle mode is too easy for these guys. I'm sure Bloodshot and the rest who play could attest to the fact that there are some spicy demons who would certainly love to.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, that is.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys play against them. I mean, I'm sure Bloodshot.
All right, so we're out of that fight. Ooh. Oh, just
Christ.
because. No, just because it's 100% doesn't mean we're not going to be using movement. So you're going to see there, ballistic boosting. Now he's going to try and do a trick here where he plays 2 cutscenes at the
Flashing
same
screen
time.
warning.
Power restored. You should be able to continue towards the
Yep,
gate
there's
now.
some
Alright, no
blinking.
longer flashing.
You'll need to find a way to activate
So
the
he
power in this part of
hit a
the city.
trigger, he ended a fight which starts a cutscene, and then he activated another cutscene right before, so they play over each other at the same time, so you don't have to wait for both. Small little optimization. Save you a few seconds. Ooh, nice movement. Really cool.
That's amazing.
Alright, see if I can do this. Sweet.
Nice. So he got the so he tried what Bloodshot was trying earlier, where he tries to block the Marauder's
Yeah,
plan.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Oh my god, that was friggin' nuts.
So yeah, I mean, again, with just like any other trick, that stuff's usually found by accident. That's just stuff's usually found by accident that somebody posts in Discord and says, "Hey, the Marauder failed to spawn for me here," and they show a clip, and then based off stuff we learned before in like other games, we can make assumptions. Like we've seen other demons get their spawn blocked in some circumstances, etc.
Amazing, guys. This is crazy.
Speaking of glitch hunters, one of the most prominent glitch hunters and strat finders right now is in the chat. Rio, how you doing, man? He found a lot of on launch day. He went absolutely nuts. He found a lot of the stuff you're gonna see in this game.
What is Quarth 234? That lock-on canceling. What is that?
It's a little bit of advanced tech. Basically, after you fire the lock-on, it takes a little bit of time to switch to another weapon after you shoot the lock-on. But if you hit your button to switch mods and then switch the weapon, you can do it almost instantly. So just a little optimization. So every time you lock on, you can switch weapons a little faster and do some combos and stuff like that.
They're nuts.
So you just did it there to pull out the super shotgun right after locking onto the Doom Hunter.
Crazy.
Attention to maintenance team. Please report to gate under operation.
I love this section. People ask me, they say like, "Hey, what's up with this? You know, it's not hard enough. It's not a puzzle." I'm like, "It's not supposed to be. This is just the this section is. Hey, that last fight was so hard. Yes, Recthan DW. It is stress relieving, and that's it. Yep, totally. You're just meant to be fun." I really tried to get better pacing in DLC 2. That was the whole point of moments like that. So just try to make the overall experience playing through it feel enjoyable. Like it had its high points and its, you know, moments where you're just kind of like tearing through demons, and then tough points again.
I think I missed the part where they went over Stone Imps, but you can actually just dash into Stone Imps with the energy shield and they die instantly.
Patch that out yet? I thought we patched that out, but we may
you
not.
patched out, I think, in battle mode, and I think we don't. What we do to keep the competition fair across time is we deny access of the game to the internet, so it can't download those specific patches. That way, like a run done, you know, when the game released, is just as like, you know, fair as a run done recently. Like maybe a recent patch is like faster. And then the people who did the first patch were like, okay, well, now my times roll just slower. So.
Yeah. I am looking at that. Yes, I agree. Oralt, the Undeceiver, the pacing is much better on Tag 2 than Tag 1. It is better. I know it's easier, but it's also a better paced experience on your first playthrough. But Tag 1, the joy of Tag 1 is that the more you play it, the more it gives you, because it's really a very dense and layered combat puzzle. It's just makes for a very exhausting initial playthrough. But we're proud of both. We love them. And we will be returning many of the changes in UAC Atlantica back to what they were. Because we hear you, and if you guys want some of that stuff brought back, we'll do it. Boom. That was bonkers. That's unbelievable. I can't believe you didn't ignite those guys.
Oh yeah, the Screecher, yeah. As, when I first played through, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be a little tough to dodge these guys. But then we learned how the fights worked and where everybody spawns, and like we can predictably kind of avoid them.
What happens if you hold the record? Like, do you get an award or something?
No, you just get bragger rights. That's pretty much it. I mean, to be fair though, a lot of like the best runners typically will have great streams, and a lot of people will show up and watch their streams. So it's not like it's just it can be a job for some people depending on how well their stream goes. But yeah, if you hold world record, you have your name at the top of the list, and you're good.
Yeah, Brio, I agree. Official ID awards, that'd be hilarious.
Also, it kind of helps that it is that way because what a lot of people don't know is that, like there's a lot of like messiness when it comes to rules and like deciding like what is like a cool speed game or something like that. I think they may have talked about this when they were doing No Major Glitches, but a lot of those rules are just straight up arbitrary. They're just they're there because we wanted to like create a good speed game. You can kind of think of each category as a different game itself, right? Like the game I'm playing when I play any percent with no restrictions is completely different than the game I'm going to be playing here when I'm fighting all the demons and stuff like that. So you have to balance that, and you just have to understand, okay, we understand everything's arbitrary, and just, you know, we're just making it fun. Alright, so this level, you only have to do, I believe, 7 fights. So we're going to be skipping a lot of fights here, and one in particular you might be disappointed that we skip.
Okay.
But that one fight might be a little bit difficult to skip, although I think Bowser could. I think Bowser's more than capable of skipping it. Yeah, he's looking exactly where the 11th is going to spawn. It's very choreographed, these fights. In many instances. Which is kind of good, because when fights get random, it can get very scary. And also, like, it no longer becomes about execution and more about adaptation. Which for some people is cool, right? But for speedrunners, we really enjoy when things are predictable and when it's our fault that we die.
That's what we hope in Doom Eternal. That it's hopefully, but once in a while it's not always the case.
So, there's some interesting things with Ice Bomb. So there's an upgrade called Frostbite, which increases the amount of damage Ice Bomb does.
You'll need to get over those walls to continue
And we actually
this
route
level.
around that, but it's also kind of interesting. There's some exceptions to it. Like, for example, the Tyrant, it doesn't take any bonus damage when you freeze it, and you deal damage with the Super Shotgun specifically. So sometimes, in some instances, it's better to like freeze the Tyrant and then shoot him with rockets rather than Super Shotgun, even though you'd think Super Shotgun would be best because he's frozen, he's not dangerous. So there is some strategy around that. There's a lot of little quirky things that we've learned with this game about damage and stuff like that. We got
Great.
spreadsheets. We got spreadsheets.
I believe it.
I made them, and I spent a lot of time on them. It was, a lot of
amazing.
interesting discoveries. That was very much so worth the time. We found a lot of ways to optimally kill demons and do some fights because of it. Oh,
It's unbelievable.
so unfortunately, I couldn't catch the Marauder in time, and now he has to fight him normally. Oh, he picked up. Oh. That's an interesting thing. I think. Let me guess. The BFG did a bunch of damage to the Marauder Bowser.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
So I think you guys talked about it earlier about how frame rate can affect the game. Frame rate can also affect the amount of damage the BFG can do. It's this weird behavior where the higher the frame rate, the longer it takes for the BFG tendril, like the zap, to deal damage. Like there's a longer delay between when the damage starts and when the zap hits the demon. But once the zap actually starts dealing damage, it deals more at higher frame rates. So that's like an interesting thing. Like you can sometimes, like there have been instances where we've been able to one-shot a Marauder with BFG with just the
One shot a
tendrils.
Baron with it.
Yeah, Baron too. Like if you're really consistent on your frame rate.
Unbelievable. I mean, that's a tough fight, and you just like walk through that. This was going to be the room with all the prowlers, curse prowlers.
Oh really?
Yeah, we were going to have 4 of them in here.
Oh, thankfully you guys were considerate enough to keep it open. I was wondering why that arena was very open. Does that fight not give combat rating down? I thought it did.
Nope.
Oh, that's right, it doesn't. Oh my goodness, yeah.
Only
it
the ones
doesn't.
in the city.
I completely forgot, and I even found the list for it. Forgot.
We had no idea hell had their own technology?
All right,
Must have been
see if we can do it.
centralized here, like some kind of ruling elite.
Oh yeah, you should be able to. Sorry, Hugo, we skipped the double ladder. That fight, unfortunately, does not give hidden rating, so we are allowed to skip it. Oh man, this fight. I mean, I could write an essay on this fight, the fight that he just did, and all the random properties it has. You wouldn't have seen them, but like exploring this fight was quite an adventure. It was really strange how everything works out. So he's actually going to kill stuff here, not because it's necessary. This fight is actually completely unnecessary. In fact, you can just completely leave here and it'll be fine. The reason he does it is because I think this was also talked about in NMG, but I don't think it was covered in much detail. Once the game gets like a certain amount of demons, like it'll slow down spawns for others. And so in NMG they reload a checkpoint, but Bowser's playing this as if he was playing Ultra Nightmare. So in Ultra Nightmare you can't reload checkpoint. You can Alt F4, but we don't allow that on our leaderboards to Alt F4 intentionally, or to crash your game intentionally, for example. So he has to kill those demons. So that's just an unfortunate thing. He has to spend some time killing them, because they do take up a little bit of cap, and this fight as a result would be slowed down way longer than it would be to just kill those demons before.
Our apologies.
Oh, it wasn't showing the spirit buff. That was weird.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
Still had the spirit, but wasn't doing the particles.
Because we have found some weird behaviors with the spirit when a demon's spawning. Like in some instances in the Ancient Gods Part 1, we were able to kill a demon before the spirit possessed it. So there is some wonkiness with that sometimes.
Yes, I've seen that.
So there's actually this new tech that was actually discovered, I think, was it last week? Where you can stack multiple
thank God.
Oh, okay. Where you can stack multiple heat blasts on top of each other. And you can actually break that Baron's armor almost instantly.
Wow.
Approaching the Dark Lord Sanctum.
So,
Starting to lose my connection though.
unfortunately, it's very new, and I haven't even had a chance to practice it. I assume Bowser hasn't had that much time to really integrate it into his play as well.
It's not really worth it for most of them, honestly.
Yeah. And you have to get a really good version of it to make it work out. So, but it is an interesting thing to know. We're discovering things all the time. Game's gonna be out for 10 years, and we're still gonna be discovering stuff. So this fight is actually one of the most researched fights in the entire game. Like I think Cryo and Sylar, or I think not Sylar. Gee, I forgot his name. Can't believe I forgot his name. They found a lot of setups. And for example, Bloodshot tried to go for the one cycle.
I don't think I got it this time. Oh, there we go.
Nice. You got the one cycle.
Unbelievable.
Really impressive.
I shouldn't have done that.
He almost got it again. That's really cool. Oh, this is like the first time I've seen Bowser play this category though. As you can see with his internet issue.
What? Okay. I'll take it.
Nothing happened. It's all good. So yeah, he actually just pulls out the energy shield there because his frame rate is very high. As they were discussing earlier, it's kind of hard to dodge it at higher frame rates. So, by the way, a quick little tip for anybody who's struggling with staying alive in the game: energy shield is incredibly powerful. It has 600 HP, So it really juices up this. Very scary. It has 600 HP and it's very, very powerful and lasts for a while and it's very, very good if you're struggling and it's a really, really good set to use and you're showing very often. So you saw him also run up to stuff and
Yeah.
run up to pinkies with it out and just like unconditioned just busted it out running up to pinkies because he didn't want to risk possibility.
Combat, I mean, it's just, you wreck it. It's awesome.
There we go.
And nice. That's time.
Very impressive. Very, very impressive, guys. Amazing. Like, you know, and just the combos. Man, I learned some things here for sure. Let me tell you. First of all, I learned that I suck at the game. That's what I learned. And then I learned some good combos for taking out dudes a little faster. Just a little faster.
A little bit.
And yeah, no, it's incredible. You guys did really, really just super impressive.
By the way, Hugo, I really love this line. Thank you for giving it. What a great line.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, it's good. He's good. Awesome work, guys.